For thousands of years, warfare was entirely defined by physical numbers, muscular strength, and raw human courage. Armies clashed face-to-face on open battlefields, and victory almost always belonged to the side with the most men, the heaviest shields, or the sharpest steel. But then, science and industrial engineering permanently entered the battlefield. Every few decades, a groundbreaking technological invention emerges that does not just tip the scales of a conflict, it completely rewrites the global rules of engagement. These are the tools that made once invincible empires crumble to dust, rendered massive concrete fortresses entirely obsolete overnight, and forced elite military commanders to radically rethink everything they knew about survival and strategy. From the muddy, blood-soaked trenches of Western Europe to the vast carrier battles across the Pacific Ocean and directly into the digital automated war zones of the 21st century, we are looking at the ultimate machines of human conflict. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are breaking down the top 10 modern weapons that changed warfare forever, analyzing how they worked and how they fundamentally altered history. Number 1. The Maxim machine gun. Before the late 19th century, infantry tactics relied on lines of soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder, firing single-shot muskets or early rifles. That traditional military doctrine died instantly in 1884 with the introduction of the Maxim machine gun. Created by Hiram Maxim, this was the world's first fully automatic weapon. Utilizing the natural energy of the recoil to automatically eject the spent cartridge and load the next round, it could fire over 600 rounds per minute. The impact on the battlefield was catastrophic. During World War I, this single technology brought a brutal end to the era of romantic cavalry charges and open-field military maneuvers. It forced entire armies to dig deep into the earth just for basic survival, giving birth to the horrifying reality of trench warfare. The Maxim gun proved that a small, well-placed defensive team could annihilate thousands of advancing troops in minutes, fundamentally shifting the tactical advantage from the attacker to the defender for decades to come. Number 2. Aircraft carriers. At the dawn of the 20th century, the ultimate measure of global naval power was the battleship. Massive, heavily armored floating fortresses like the British HMS Dreadnought ruled the open seas. But World War II exposed a fatal vulnerability in this design. The world oceans no longer belonged to the ships with the biggest guns. They belonged to whoever controlled the airspace above them. The aircraft carrier shifted naval doctrine permanently. Suddenly, a nation could project immense air power thousands of miles away from its home shores, launching devastating strikes well beyond the horizon, long before opposing fleets could even see each other. The iconic battles of Midway and Pearl Harbor proved that traditional battleships were completely defenseless against coordinated aerial torpedo and dive bomber attacks. From that historic turning point forward, the aircraft carrier became the undisputed centerpiece of naval supremacy and international power projection. Number 3. Blitzkrieg tanks. While armored vehicles first appeared in World War I to break the bloody stalemate of the trenches, they were initially slow, mechanically unreliable, and used primarily as mobile shields for advancing infantry. It was not until the late 1930s and early 1940s that military strategists truly unlocked their terrifying operational potential. The German panzer divisions, combined later with the highly mass-produced Soviet T-34 and American Sherman tanks, turned armor into a weapon of lightning-fast offense. This became known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. By integrating fast-moving tanks with mechanized infantry and close aerial support, armies could completely bypass strong static fortifications, encircle entire enemy factions, and push deep into foreign territory within a matter of days. The modern main battle tank brought mobility, speed, and overwhelming shock value back to the ground war, redefining land combat strategy forever. Number 4. The AK-47 assault rifle. While billions of dollars are constantly spent on stealth aircraft and advanced heavy missiles, the most destructive weapon in modern human history is arguably a simple, rugged rifle designed by Mikhail Kalashnikov in 1947. The AK-47 completely changed the global geopolitical landscape by democratizing military firepower. Before its creation, maintaining an effective modern army required extensive industrial infrastructure and highly trained soldiers. The AK-47 changed all of that. It was incredibly cheap to manufacture, featured only a few moving parts, and was practically indestructible, operating perfectly in thick mud, desert sand, or freezing water. Suddenly, small guerrilla forces, insurgencies, and developing nations could match the infantry firepower of the world's greatest superpower nations. It remains the ultimate global symbol of asymmetric warfare, rebellion, and armed conflict across the entire planet. Number 5. Nuclear ballistic missiles. In August 1945, the atomic bomb changed human history in a flash of light. But it was the marriage of nuclear warheads with intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, during the height of the Cold War that altered the nature of global peace and war forever. For the very first time, a nation could launch a strike that would completely obliterate a major city on the other side of the planet in less than 30 minutes, with absolutely no effective way for the defender to stop it. This terrifying capability led straight to the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD. Paradoxically, the most destructive weapon ever created prevented the world's superpotencies from ever engaging in a direct, full-scale military conflict. War was no longer about simply conquering physical territory. It became a high-stakes psychological game of ultimate survival, where winning meant never pulling the trigger. Number 6. Laser-guided bombs and precision munitions. For most of aviation history, aerial bombing was purely a game of statistical probability and mass destruction. During World War II, it took hundreds of heavy bombers dropping thousands of tons of conventional, unguided explosives just to guarantee the destruction of a single bridge, railway, or factory. This inherent inaccuracy led to massive civilian casualties and immense logistical waste. That paradigm shifted dramatically during the Vietnam War with the introduction of laser-guided smart bombs. By tracking a precise laser beam reflected off a specific target, these new munitions could hit within feet of their mark. Refined during the Gulf War, precision-guided munitions allowed a single aircraft to accomplish what previously required an entire fleet, transforming air campaigns into highly localized surgical operations and minimizing strategic waste. Number 7. Stealth fighters and bombers. For decades, the equation of air defense was incredibly simple. If your radar can see an incoming enemy aircraft, your surface-to-air missiles can shoot it down. But in the late 20th century, the United States introduced a technology that turned advanced radar systems into incredibly expensive blind spots. Beginning with the F-117 Nighthawk and evolving into the modern F-22 Raptor and B-2 Spirit, stealth technology utilized specialized radar-absorbent materials and highly complex geometric angles to scatter radar waves away from the receiver. A stealth aircraft possesses a radar cross-section no larger than a small bird, allowing it to penetrate deep into heavily defended enemy airspace, dismantle critical command centers, and neutralize strategic threats before the opposing forces even realize an attack has begun. Number 8. The FIM-92 Stinger missile. Warfare has often been defined by extremely expensive military assets bullying cheaper ones. But in the 1980s, a shoulder-fired weapon completely leveled the playing field between ground infantry and modern air forces. The FIM-92 Stinger is a man-portable air defense system, known as MANPADS. It uses an advanced infrared passive seeker to lock onto the heat signatures of low-flying aircraft and helicopters. When the United States supplied these highly portable missiles to the Mujahideen fighters during the Soviet-Afghan War, the results altered global history. The Soviet Union's terrifying fleet of Mi-24 Hind helicopter gunships, which had completely dominated the countryside, was suddenly highly vulnerable. A single foot soldier hiding in the mountain rocks could destroy a multi-million-dollar aircraft, proving that asymmetric technology could defeat an empire. Number 9. The FGM-148 Javelin. For nearly a century, the heavy main battle tank was the undisputed king of the ground battlefield. If you had more heavy armor and a bigger gun, you generally won the tactical engagement. That core assumption was completely shattered by the development of the FGM-148 Javelin, a shoulder-fired anti-tank guided missile system. The Javelin utilizes a revolutionary top-attack flight profile. Instead of flying straight into the thickest front armor of a tank, the missile climbs high into the air and strikes directly downward onto the turret, where the vehicle armor is thinnest. Equipped with an advanced fire-and-forget infrared guidance system, the operator can immediately run for cover after launch. Recent global conflicts have clearly demonstrated that small, agile teams using javelins can systematically dismantle and destroy massive, multi-million-dollar armored columns. Number 10. Combat drones and loitering munitions. We are currently living through the most profound revolution in military technology since the original invention of gunpowder. The rise of unmanned aerial vehicles, ranging from high-altitude platforms like the MQ-9 Reaper to tiny, low-cost first-person view kamikaze drones, has completely transformed modern tactical conflict. Drones have effectively erased the traditional concept of a safe front line. Soldiers in trenches or armored vehicles are now under constant surveillance and immediate threat from above, tracked by quiet, cheap quadcopters carrying high-explosive payloads. Loitering munitions can hover over a battlefield for hours, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This massive shift toward automated, robotic, and low-cost remote warfare has made traditional mass military strategies look incredibly slow and deeply vulnerable. From the mechanical, terrifying power of the early Maxim gun to the silent, autonomous precision of modern combat drones, the rapid evolution of weaponry has always dictated the rise and fall of nations. These 10 innovations did not just make armies stronger, they completely altered the geopolitical boundaries of our world and continuously forced mankind to adapt or face total extinction. As artificial intelligence and fully autonomous systems continue to advance at an unprecedented pace, the next weapon to change warfare forever is likely being designed right now in a laboratory. The critical question for the future is no longer just how we will fight, but who, or exactly what, will be pulling the trigger. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into military history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments below which weapon you think had the greatest impact on history. See you next time.